What's going on, Falcon fans? It's your boy Rakundo coming back at you with another video. So today, yes, you look up there, we're going to talk about what is the right way to build an NFL team, and are the Falcons on the right track to do that? Um, Before we get in that today, guys, if you have not already, go ahead and please subscribe to the channel. Please hit notification bell so you know when I drop another video. Please hit like button so I know you guys like here to talk about. And please share my video throughout the YouTube universe so more people could come in and hear me talk about these Atlanta Falcons. So before we get into the topic today, and I'm gonna go about 8 topics, 8 points that I think the what it really makes the to build a good football NFL football team. Reality is really no wrong or right way. Just hope the way you work, the way you do it, it works. But we're gonna definitely take a look. Of course, these are my opinions on what I think it would take to make a good NFL team. Of course, it is, and also going off, on history of the NFL teams who has won the Super Bowl, teams that have sustained success, being in the playoffs every year, things like that. So, but like I said, these are my points. Definitely want to hear from you guys and let me know what you guys think about what you think it takes to build a good NFL football team. And at the end of the day, are the Falcons on the right track for that? This was a discussion today, of course, because of the Lamar Jackson rumors still flown around out there. Was a report, from some insiders, from the league saying that Lamar Jackson would end up with the Atlanta Falcons. I'll touch on that real quick, then I get into my thoughts about how the Atlanta Falcons are on track to build a team. For the record, I do think they're on the right track. We just have to see how it ends when they get there, correct? So the first thing we're going to talk about today, though, guys, is some news. We'll talk about the Falcons coaching, defensive coordinator coaching search. Of course, they just finished interviewing Ryan Nielsen yesterday, the co-defensive coordinator and defensive line coach for the New Orleans Saints. That's one of the last ones they got. Still think they got Jerry Gray to interview, but they already interviewed Vic Fangio, Al Holcomb, Brian Flores. Of course, Ichiro Evero still being blocked by the Broncos. So hopefully they're trying to kind of dwindling down on their defensive coordinator search. Like I said, the sooner it's better because whoever that coach is, he can come help scout some of the potential free agents or potential draftees that's going to be coming in this year. Of course, if he's already in NFL, he already done that with his other team anyway. But to fit the Atlanta Falcon, what he's trying to build here, the Atlanta Falcons, you definitely want to be able to bring the right players in, to fit the scheme with the players that's already here. So that's some of the things that I think that Atlanta Falcons should be trying to focus on. This is really interesting because the actual the coaching hire is really slow this season. There has not been a head coach hire yet, or a coordinator hire for any team. So it's just a real interesting season this year. But the Falcons still, I think they got, like I said, they got one more interview with Jerry Gray from the Green Bay Packers, the defensive back and passing coordinator for the team. Like I said, he got a lot of NFL experience. Also, it was reported that they are really monitoring the Carolina Panthers head coaching search as well. Because if Steve Wilkes does not get the job, and I went on the record saying I think he should get the job. What he was able to do with that team down the stretch was really, really awesome. So, but like I said, it was a report out that if Steve Wilkes does not get that job, the Atlanta Falcon is eyeing him as well, which would really be a good defensive coach to bring in, veteran guy that has a lot of experience. Keep in mind, if he does get that head coaching job, more than likely Al Holcomb, the guy that we interviewed for our coordinator position, probably would more likely stay with the Panthers if Steve Wilkes get that job. So That's one of the things that was probably another ball to drop, and more than likely, what's the holding up the actual search is the fact that um, the Atlanta Falcons themselves, what's going on, Millie Mills? The fact that the head coaches have not been hired yet. I think that's really holding up the coordinator search right now. The fact that the head coaches have not been hired. So until we get that sorted out, like I said, it's really slow this year. I'm pretty sure not all the coaches. There's only 4 teams left, so only I know Dan Quinn had an interview today with the Arizona Cardinals. Heard Sean Payton's supposed to be going there next to get that job. Of course, the Panthers job, the Colts job. I'm still out there. The Broncos job is another job. So until it could we might have to wait until some of the head coaches vacancies get filled before the Atlanta Falcons is able to solidify their spots as well. So, but as soon as we get the news, we'll talk about it, and everybody can give their opinions on whoever they select. Do we think that's a good choice or not for this team that's going to actually help the Atlanta Falcons moving forward? All right, what's going on, Kevin? Um, yeah. Once the head coach get dropped, yeah, then all the dominoes are definitely starting to fall. I agree with you on that. So, guys, let's go ahead and talk about um what the topic is today. Like I said, what is the right way to build a good NFL team? Like I said, it was a topic on Twitter day going back and forth. And of course, it was centered around the quarterback, right? Lamar Jackson coming to Atlanta. And, it's both sides of the it's always that way. The Falcons fans are always split down the middle. Some feel that we should go for it and try to get Lamar Jackson. Other people feel that we should, not. We got Desmond Ritter, build around him. And the question is, what is the right way to build an NFL team, right? And are the Falcons on the right track, right? We just got to just take a look at that and figure out. Like I said earlier in the video, I don't think it's a definitely right or wrong way. You just have to look at the team that's um, currently their status, where they're at, and determine what is the right way for them, right? That's what they have to decide. So the first thing, like I said, I'm gonna go over 7 points. I think that it is all keys and factors that really determine how you're going to build your football team. And we'll kind of, when I talk about that, I talk about the Falcons and how they have approach each point in 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 this same realm. So the first one is going to be the salary cap, right? So the NFL salary cap is not like the major baseball league, right? The MLB. It's not like those guys where they don't have a salary cap. They can go out and sign whoever they want to sign, spend how much money they want to spend, and sign all those guys to big contracts. So it's not like NLB. It's not like the NBA, right? Where NBA does have a salary cap, but those guys got guaranteed contracts. So when those guys get signed, no matter what injuries, anything, that contracts are guaranteed. Well, the NFL is not like that. Also, the amount of personnel they have to put up under that salary cap. So that salary cap really is a big part of how just say a new general manager and a new coach come in and how they want to build a team, or an existing coach and an existing general manager, how they're trying to keep their team together, throughout the years, and things like that. But the salary cap is definitely really important for any team to try to decide how they want to build this team, right? So you look at, and I'll give some examples or some teams, like the New Orleans Saints right now. They so cap strong, but they felt like they had a window to try to win a championship. Of course, the window was really a lot better when they had Drew Brees and Sean Payton, and they just kept putting money towards that salary cap, trying to figure out the caps, scholars out there trying to figure out how to make the money fit in, how to stretch money, further in further years to make the best roster they can, right? So that's the first thing, about a team is the salary cap and how they try to build it. And so then you have like the Los Angeles Rams, of course, you know, they they decide to try to go get all the big name players they could, and it paid off for those guys, right? So the salary cap is really, really important, and we just got to know that, like for an example, the Falcons. So when this regime took over for the Atlanta Falcons, we understood. Everybody understood. It was not a secret of how the situation was with the salary cap for the Atlanta Falcons. It's no secret about that. All right, Kevin says, personally, I think if they want Lamar, they can sign without killing our cap. I think the Fontenot is better with than Demetro, and he's creative. Yes, yes, I agree with you. So let's go on and debunk that theory that if they was to sign the Lamar Jackson, that it'll mess up the salary cap. That is not the case. My biggest issue with bringing in Lamar Jackson is how many picks and draft picks and future, how much of the future you gonna have to give away for Lamar Jackson. So I don't think it has anything to do with the salary cap. I think the biggest issue is um, with so many holes with the Falcons. If you bring Lamar Jackson in, how much of the future you gonna have to give away to get him? So that's my issue with it. But I already been on record. If you gotta get Lamar Jackson, hey, power to the people. I just honestly feel like if we're gonna talk about Lamar Jackson today, is that I don't think the Baltimore Ravens will do it. I just don't think the Baltimore Ravens is going to put him on the trade market. It's just my opinion. I think they'll franchise tag him first, and he's going to sign a $45 million franchise tag. I don't see him sitting out, saying that he want a long term deal and going to leave $45 million on the table. But they might come, to an agreement on extension as well. So I just don't see the Baltimore Ravens where their whole team is actually just built around Lamar Jackson. I mean, it really shown when he was out these last 5 or 6 games in the playoffs. They could not move the ball, they could not score. They were just, inept because they built the team around him. So the salary cap really wouldn't affect the Falcons if they was to bring in Lamar Jackson, because they could sign him, and like I said, they could manipulate the money to put the money out for the years and still be able to do the things they want to do with the free agency. However, in the draft, that's where I think it's going to hurt us, but not for just this year, but in future years as well. So that's what we have to think about. And if that's their plan, like I said, we don't know the Atlanta Falcons' true plan, but if their plan, let's see how it works out. So, Mealy Mill says, at the same time, we ain't paying nobody big money in the future, so I'm all for bringing Lamar here. But I also understand that if we don't matter, I'm just with it. Yes, I agree with you. Like I said, and I know you guys have heard me say this so many times. A franchise quarterback is not like easy to come by in the NFL. So if you got a chance to get an NFL franchise quarterback, that's already one thing you can check off your box, right? You got your franchise quarterback, and then you figure everything else out, right? Now, I'm not saying that Desmond Ridder is not a franchise quarterback. We just don't know, right? So that's the chance you have to take. If you don't, already have a guy, you hope that the guy that you got is going to actually turn into that. Desmond Ridder showed potential. He had promise. So if we don't get Lamar, I'm cool with that as well. So just like I said, I'm on either side of the fence on this. I can make an argument for either way. You think the Falcons get Lamar? Will be a playoff team? Yes, I do. I do believe that we will be a playoff team, because I just think Lamar Jackson will win some games. Because, like I said, he's our league MVP second year in, right? Like I said, I think Arthur Smith can do a lot of good things with him. So, yes, I do believe we'll be a playoff team. But you got to see how the pieces fit. Like I said, you got a franchise quarterback, but now you have to see how they would have to build around Lamar if they decide to do that. Israel said, facts, Ricondo, get without him. He's up a year first. Yep. All I'm saying is that either way for me, I am happy with it, man. Because like I said, I was impressed with Desmond Ritter, so I'm not like losing out on him. Like we just got to go make this deal happen, or we're screwed. That's not the case. But at the same time, if you get a franchise quarterback here that's 25-year-old and potentially could be your future for a while, you're gonna take your chances with that. And we can't say the Falcons will not do it because they just did it last year with Deshaun Watson and with all the baggage that he had. So they definitely would do it if the opportunity was there. So I'm not gonna. That's why I'm not 100. I just feel like it won't happen because I don't think Baltimore would actually put him on a trading block. But if he was to come on a trading block, yes, the Falcons definitely would actually go for that. There's our offense need a change if Lamar comes to Atlanta, and does that move change the strategy on how we rebuild a team? So the first person, I don't think the offense will change. I really don't, because um Lamar can throw the ball, but he'll be more dynamic in the run. It actually I think it'll make our run game even better with Lamar in the fold, but he can make all the throws. I know people say he can't throw, but I think he can make all the throws. So I don't think the offense will change. The second part, yes, it will change how we rebuild because the draft capital that we probably have to give away to get Lamar is definitely gonna change to how they would have to, what would they do in free agency? How many draft picks we giving up this year and then in future years. So we have to think about that. So that's why it would change the way we rebuild a team because of the draft capital we give away, right? I don't think it'll mess with the salary cap when we going back to the salary cap. I don't think it'll mess salary cap because I think the salary cap can be maneuvered enough for this year. Of course, in the end, and further, the further we go out in the years, it's going to start to bite us in the butt a little bit, unless we, extend Lamar again, in the future. So that's really how it works. I mean, that's the same thing happened with Matt Ryan, but I think this regime is smart enough to don't want to get back into the situation we was with our last superstars that we had here, Julio, Matt, Deion Jones, those guys, where we couldn't actually go in and actually you know make the team better during our season because we had no cap space year in and year out. I believe we have a chance to go to the playoff with Ritter too because I agree with you. So see, so hey, so just what I'm saying. So all the Falcon fans, fighting about either should we go Lamar or stay with Ritter. I think either way we should be good. That's just my opinion. We don't know which would be better, right? Because we just typing hypotheticals here. We don't know if they get Lamar, what moves they would make, and then if they don't get Lamar, we're gonna find out what kind of moves they make if we don't get Lamar. So we don't know which one would be better. We just guessing, right? Because we don't know if they trade Lamar. First of all, what they got to give up to get him, and then second of all, what kind of moves they make after they do get him. And then right now we don't have him, and we need to see what kind of moves they make um, because we don't have him. All right, and we got Des Ritter in the fold. So those are the things that we really got to think about. Like I said, it's hypothetical anyway, but I guess it's just fun to dream. I guess everybody want Michael Vick 2.0 to come. You know, um, I think it would. I think he would. Make us better. Like I said, if he can stay healthy, yes, I see the Falcons being really, really successful moving forward. All right, guys. Pretty much that's all on the salary cap. Like I said, we have to consider that. First of all, you got to think about the Falcons' first 2 years with the salary cap. first year, COVID year, right? Salary cap actually went down. They had to bring in all these guys on 1 year deals. Couldn't build a team. We couldn't build a team at that time. This year was pretty much the same. Couldn't really build a team. So we had to try to be competitive and try to find diamonds in the rough. I think we did good with both our draft classes. Hopefully those guys improve, right? And we kept some foundational pieces here and Grady and Jake. We got AJ, we got Christian Instrom, right? All those guys, the veterans, and then we got some great young rising players that's coming up in the back in the last two drafts. So that's how we did it. We more the first 2 years kind of built the team through the draft. We kept like four foundational pieces, with Young Wade, Grady, AJ, and Jake. Right, we kept those pieces. We got Christian from two, and then we built through the draft. Right, so now we're in second phase. They mentioned that, but the salary cap kind of strong to hurt these guys the first 2 years. They had to build it in a different way, and they built through the draft, and they built with some foundational guys that they want to keep around, for the long haul. That's the way they did it. Who that Saints going to? Who that Saints going to win the division this year? With what quarterback? That's the question. Who's your quarterback next year, Gavin? Who's the Saints quarterback next year? All right, let's go to the next, guys. That's the salary cap. All right, so next I'm gonna talk about the different approaches you could go. I just mentioned one, and this would be the go all in approach. This is what the Aints did for so many years, which now is coming to bite them in the butt because they don't have that franchise quarterback anymore, and they gonna have some guys that they gonna have to let go to get back up on the salary. So we really got to think about that. And then you look at the Los Angeles Rams, it actually worked for them. They went all in. They went and got Von Miller, Jalen Ramsey. They went and got Matthew Stafford, right, and it worked. It worked. They went in and they won themselves a championship. The question is, where are they at now? All right, they really didn't look really good this year. They don't have that many draft picks because they gave them all away to go get those guys. Like I said, they all go all in approach. It worked. The whole little meme out there where the general manager for the Rams say fuck those picks, right? So it went out. They went all in. They didn't care about their first round picks. But at the end of the day, they actually won a Super Bowl. And for a Falcon fan, hey, I would love to win the Super Bowl. But for longevity, you want to be a team like the New England Patriots, right? A team that go to the playoffs every year over the years, right? Like the Baltimore Ravens, teams like that, teams like the Green Bay Packers. Some of these teams didn't make it this year, but you look at the way they just keep doing it, right? Just going year. That's what I mean by longevity, right? So that's not this approach. This approach is what the Rams did, what the Aints tried to do so many years. Go all in, try to go win it, and bring another Super Bowl. That's why you play the game, right? That's what you dare to do. But if it don't work out for you, then you be in situations where like the Rams are now, and like the Aints are, right? So you'll be in those situations. So that's where we got to look at the go all in approach. The Falcons are not at that point, right? Because we can't go get one or two guys and be like, yeah, now we can win the Super Bowl. So this would not be approach the Falcons would take. Not in my opinion. I don't think they would go in and do the go all in approach. I think they on the right track right now. They're finally being able to use their salary cap to actually build a team, and they still can build through the draft like they've been doing the last 2 years. So this is definitely not the way the Falcons doing it, but it has shown some success, and it have shown some not so good success. Like I said, if you look at the Aints, so like I said, it's different ways you can build an NFL team, right? And I just talked about two different ways where it didn't actually work, right? One did and one didn't. But you look at both of those teams now, um, they're soul searching on what they're going to be able to do moving forward, right? That's where that's the question. So going all in, you can win, in the now. Which, like I said, for Falcon fans, we would love that we win the Super Bowl because some teams have never won the Super Bowl. The Falcons been twice, just couldn't pull it off. But you know, one Super Bowl, yeah, that would for me for being a Falcon fan. Yeah, I won't lie to you guys, that would be awesome. So if they was that close to like one or two guys bringing in and go all in, I would say let's go for it. But the Falcons definitely not in that space right now. So no, this would not be the approach for the Atlanta Falcons. All right, the next one, guys, is um the start over and rebuild approach, right? So this is where the Falcons sort of is at right now, right? This is where the Falcons at, right? They kind of had to start all over. Like I said, got rid of their franchise quarterback, got rid of their All Pro receiver, All Pro linebacker, right? You know, so they and we like I said, we got one of the youngest team in the league. So this is where the Falcons at right now. This is this is how you can actually build. This is probably the most preferred way for general managers, right? Because they get their grades on their draft, their free agency signings, and things like that. So this might be a good way for the front office guys. They like this because it shows how they know how to build a team, right? So this is the way where the Falcons at. This is how I see the Falcons right now. Good example to use for this is the Cincinnati Bengals. Cincinnati Bengals, this their approach that they use, right? Um, so many years Cincinnati's been down. They had Marvin Lewis there for so many years. Went to the playoffs like 8 straight years, but they never could, get out of it. So they broke it all down when they got some weapons. They went and found their quarterback, and back in the AFC Championship, the past 2 years, and they're still young, right? So they can be in the AFC Championship, maybe have a chance to go to the Super Bowl, be a young team, and they can add to that team the next year, right? So that's what you're looking at. You're looking at a team like the Cincinnati Bengals. 2 years ago, they won 4 games, and the last 2 years they've been in the AFC Championship game. Last year they went to the Super Bowl. So this is where I feel like the Falcons are at right now, and had the potential to kind of mirror something like that. That's that's the hope for this team. And now you can see a team like the Cincinnati Bengals being in the playoffs every year because they have that foundation built. Like I said, they can add to it every year. So this the approach that I think the Falcons at. Um, and so they did not do the go all in. They went this route, get a young nucleus there. Last year they realized the offensive line wasn't good enough. They went in and added, right, and they right back in the AFC Championship game. So that's the way I like the Falcons to build a team, and that's a good example to utilize, right? Other teams you look at the San Francisco 49ers. Um, Built their team around their defense. Got a lot of defense is just really good. Got a lot of skilled players over there. Then they just plug and play quarterbacks in there like it's so easy, right? So that's another team that you can look at. The Buffalo Bills is another one. Of course, with Sherman McDermott over there in the playoffs every year. That's where we want the Falcons to be. You're not going to win Super Bowl every year, but if you get the tournament every year, you have a chance. That's where I see the Falcons, their direction that we should want our team to go. So to start over and rebuild approach to me is probably the best approach that the Falcons should take. It's my opinion. You guys still let me know. You think they should go all in and try to, win it with like one or two guys, which we're definitely not 1-2 guys away from winning the Super Bowl. So this is the approach I will use. I think this is the track the Falcons are on. Um, guys, let me know what you think about that. Draft offense, sign veteran defense, and that wins Super Bowls. Eric Hughes said draft offense, sign veteran defense, and win Super Bowls. So he's saying put veterans on the defensive side of the ball and utilize, the draft for your offense and bring those guys in, right? So that's a pretty good approach. Um, you just got to be able to see how it pan out. I think if you look at offenses, right, and the old cliche, defenses win championship. I think that's great because think about the prolific offenses that Atlanta Falcon had for so many years, right? And they was competitive. They got to some playoffs during some of those years, but they could never get over the hump because offense was so explosive. But they couldn't stop the other team from scoring as well. The Falcons used to lose games, 45-42, things like that. So that, your approach, going to get veteran defensive players and building the offense, I like it. I really do. But Recondo, we're a little closer than a rebuild. Yeah, you gotta think about it. We're in our third year, so we are in our third year. So the rebuild started 2 years ago. That's what I mean because they had to fix the salary cap. They had to decide, the guys that they want to bring in. They'd have been two drafts, so the rebuild started 2 years ago. So I agree with you. We're a little bit closer than our new fresh rebuild, right? That's what I mean. I think it started 2 years ago. I think it started when they first got here, when they started to fix the salary cap, right? That's why I had salary cap number one because you got to fix that, especially if you're trying to do the rebuild and start. So you're 100% correct, Mini Mills. They are in year three, so they're closer to being that team that we want them to be than the team that would be starting for fresh. Like I said, Cincinnati Bengals won 4 games, right, and then the next 2 years in the AC Championship. Falcons went 7-10 in 2 years. So yeah, we're right there. But you got to remember, both of those teams was different teams, right? Because we brought so many guys in on 1 year deals. So last year's team was different this year's team, and this next year the team is going to be different again. So you just got to get some continuity here. Like I said, they got the foundational pieces that's going to be here. Guys like Grady, Jake, Young Wei Koo, AJ Terrell, Chris Lindstrom, those guys. They got the pieces. We got Drake London. I think Kyle Pitts. You can start adding him to that foundation. Um, Richard Grant. Richard Grant actually had a pretty good year this year. So all those guys that we want to look at the foundational pieces, right? We add to that, and then I think we'd be cooking with some grease, man. So I agree with you. We're further ahead than starting at a rebuild. We passed the initial rebuild. All right. The next point I want to talk about, guys, is what EQ was talking about. It's just the defense, right? I think 100%. If you got a good defense, you got a chance to go to the playoffs every year. That's just my opinion. And this actually, history on this. Go back to the 2000 Ravens, right? Trent Difford, those guys used to, the defense was so good. If you score, if you gonna score 17 points, you're probably gonna win the game. If you score 16 points, you're probably gonna win the game. So defense wins championships, and to me, the first thing the Falcons should focus on is the defense. 100% the defense, in my opinion. Like I said, it's history out there. You just look at the great defense. The defense in Tampa Bay was outstanding. Go back to the 85 Bears. That defense was outstanding. Like I said, the 2000 Ravens, the New York Giants, when they beat Tom Brady, stopped Tom Brady for going perfect in the season, right? All these defenses that we talk about Defense win championships. Go back to a couple of years ago, that Tampa defense, what it did to Patrick Mahomes. Defense wins championships. I think that's really the first thing that the Atlanta Falcons should really be looking at is the defensive side of the ball. Yes, if you go looking in the playoffs right now, it's a lot of offensive head coaches, but look at the defenses of all those teams. And I'm gonna talk about another key thing that at the end, I think I got it next to right to the last is one of the reasons why sometimes defense don't have to be that great, but um, but you got to have a good solid defense. So the right way to build an NFL team to me is start on the defensive side of the ball. What's going on? Mariota, we're gonna find out here, new league year. He's still under contract. He's still under contract. They have to actually honor his contract in new league year. If they decide not to, he'll be a free agent, and the Falcons will get $12 million back and added to the salary cap. So we would definitely have to find out what they decide to do with that situation. I can tell you this: Terry Fontenot the the members called the other day when they asked him about quarterbacks. He only mentioned Desmond Ritter and Logan Woodside. And that's interesting to me because, like I said, Mariota is technically still under contract, but he only mentioned those two quarterbacks. So he mentioned that they're gonna definitely probably bring another guy into the room. So that was interesting when he mentioned by Mariota. So I don't know what's going to happen with Marcus Mariota, but that's one of the definitely things that we need to just wait to see what happens. We'll find out in March when the new league year starts. If the kid would have started and Pitts didn't get hurt, the Falcons would be playing San Fran this weekend. Yes, I said it. Hey, you're right. I think that's one of the things Arthur Smith maybe messed up on. He didn't make it a true quarterback competition. He kind of just gave the reins to Mariota, and so we don't know how further along Desmond Ritter would definitely be if he actually had opportunity. To your point, to actually start all season long. So, hindsight 2020, man, we don't know, but got a great point. He says, "You don't think we should get Lamar?" I said, I don't care either way. That's my opinion. That's my opinion. So if we get Lamar, man, I'm happy. I'm excited about it. If we don't get him, I'm cool too. So that's where I'm not. I know it's like straddle the fence, but I mean I could make an argument both ways. So that's why it doesn't matter to me if we get Lamar. I just like I said earlier, I do not believe that the Baltimore Ravens is going to let Lamar get out the door. So that's just my opinion. So ever said the kid is a winner. This is a true statement. This is a true statement. Desmond Ritter has won a lot of football games. He has a lot of experience, and you can say what you want to say about Desmond Ritter, but 4 games is not it's not an indictment on him, and it's not saying that he's going to be great, but you can't judge him after 4 games and say you don't like him or something like that. That's definitely something you can't do, right? So, and it's really interesting today how NFL teams give up on young quarterbacks so quick. They just give up on these young quarterbacks so quick. Just think about Chicago Bears who got number 1 draft pick. Are they going to give up on Justin Fields already? It's interesting to see what they do with that first pick of the draft, right? They could draft a quarterback, but I mean, and Justin Field had 2 head coaches his first 2 seasons in the league. So, I mean, if you think about that, I just don't understand how this league today just give up on young quarterbacks so quick. It's just interesting to me. And right now, half of the fan base think we should just give up on Desmond Ritter, right? And I understand. Like I said, I could argue both sides. You get Lamar Jackson, yeah, but we don't know what we got in Desmond Ritter, so we just have to be honest with ourselves with that as well. Um, I would be more willing to give up future first round picks, 24, 25 for Lamar, but I'm keeping my future second round gems in later round. Like I said, that's the well, we know for a fact that um drafting, coming up in the draft to get a quarterback like Trey Lance, he got 3 first round picks, right? For the 49ers to come up and get him, right? So it really interesting to see what the asking price would be for Lamar Jackson. Maybe there'd be a 1-for-1 exchange. They want Desmond Ritter for Lamar Jackson, right? Because they're gonna need a quarterback. That's why, in my opinion, I just don't think they're gonna get rid of the quarterback. Because if they get rid of Lamar Jackson, where are they going for the quarterback? Where direction are they going? I mean, the whole team was built around the way he played. The line, the tight ends, everything was built around Lamar Jackson. So if the Baltimore, decide to go away from that, they gonna have to change a lot. So it's just interesting. That's why I don't think he's coming here. But um, the asking price is really gonna be interesting for if they put him on the trade market, which I don't think they are. So Rocket as an arm and fast, he can read defenses already. Yes, yes. I like I said, either way for me, man. You guys hear me when I tell you this. I'm happy either way, right? Because right now, these last 2 years, um, the front office and the coaching staff have provided me with confidence that that they know what they're doing. I just like that. Pretty much, I like all the moves so far. I mean, you look at the Julio move, we won that trade. You look at the Matt Ryan move, we won that trade, right? So, um, they've been batting 100 right now, man. So far. Derek Carr fixed. I don't want Derek Carr. They said Derek Carr fixed on the values, the quarterback position in Baltimore. Yeah, but Derek Carr does not fit the system they got right now with Greg Roman as the offensive coordinator. So that's going to be interesting. So if Derek Carr goes to Baltimore, how they're going to change the way they got to change their whole philosophy, guys. It's just the way it is. That's the way they built that team. They built it, with Lamar Jackson in mind, and then they fired their OC. Hmm. You're correct. I forgot about that. So they fired Greg Roman. So they already thinking about changing their offense around. See, more and more signs, man. You never know. Thanks for that, James. I forgot they did fire Greg Roman. Also about to win with Ridley. About to win the Ridley trade too. Yep, I agree with that. Getting him at 74. So I mean, they don't make so many moves, man, that you have to like the moves they have made so far. I mean, get Kyle Pitts, we hopefully we get to see him actually flourish, come back. I mean, he broke the tight end record last year, right? Um, got hurt this year. Drake London was a good deal. Look at Tyler Algier. Like I said, Richard Grant really came around the second year. I like what Armor Ebiketie looked like, his rookie season. D'Angelo Malone, like the way he looked. So, guys, I mean, even the undrafted guys like a Caleb Huntley, development on him. He was a wrecking ball coming down there. So, I mean, I'm just impressed with this coaching staff and the front office so far. So, hats off to those guys. That's why I'm so excited that they actually got some stuff to work with this year, unlike the last 2 years, to see what they're able to do with it. Make trades, make free agents, draftees, whatever they got to do to make this team, a winning team. That's what we want to see. We want to see these guys work because now, all the gloves are off. They can really go out and make stuff happen for us. All right, so guys, like I said, defense is my number one key overall to building the team the right way. When we go to offensive side of the ball, for me, offensive side, I think Dallas Cowboys in the 90s had it right. offensive line. You look at the Philadelphia Eagle offensive line now. Um, Offensive line is the key, right? So if you got a good, solid offensive line on the offensive side of the ball, I think everything else kind of fall in place for you because you can always find skilled players, right? So offensive line is definitely is when we talk about offense. For me, we need to solidify our offensive line. We've been worried about that left guard position for since forever. I can't even remember the last time we had a good solid. um Levitre might have been the last good left guard we had here, right? Andy Levitre, he probably been the last one we had, you know, to really be solid for us. We've been playing musical chairs with the left guard position since then, right? They got it right. Dan Quinn and Thomas Mitro got it right with Chris Lyncher when they drafted him, early in the first round pick, 5 years ago. But offensive line, we need to be able to solidify that. We talked about Caleb McGarry on Monday. We talked about some of the free agents we need to bring back. Definitely probably need to bring him back. But we need to fix our offensive line. If we get the offensive line correct, everything else is going to fall in place for us. I just truly believe that. So for me, when we talk about offense, I think offensive line is where we need to start. Emil says, is Jones under contract with Tampa Bay next year? No, he's a free agent. Julio is a free agent next year. Like I said, man, that was the best trade the Falcons made. So I mean, Julio's been hurt since he left the Atlanta Falcons. We already seen he was starting to be injury prone for us, but ever since he left Atlanta, he's been hurt most of the time. So um, that's really a good deal that they got. And I think they got either Troy Anderson or Kevin Ridley with that pick. I can't remember which one, but one of those guys we got with the Julio trade. Right here he says, "Would you like to see the Falcons draft any Bulldogs?" Of course, man. Jalen Carter start off the back. Nolan Smith. Um, um, the running back. I can't think of his name right now. The running back we have a lot of guys. I mean, those guys, ballers, right? So any of those guys that we can bring in um, to help out Atlanta Falcons. But Jalen Carter's number one up there, right? He's gonna probably be a top 5 pick, so we probably gonna miss out on him. But that's what we'll be. We'll see. Jones on one side, London on the other side. I thought about talking about Jones because guys, I'm gonna do a free agency on the wide receivers. Receivers or free agent wide receivers. I'm gonna do is talk about some of the guys. And I looked at Julio Jones, but he can't stay healthy, man. I don't know if that'd be a good signing for us. It would be awesome to have him come back, be in Atlanta, but his health is definitely been an issue. So I'm not sure if yeah, he can still play. I agree with you. I forgot about Keely Ringo. Definitely, I thought I thought that Marvin Harrison Jr. kind of lowered Keely Ringo's stock a little bit because he was getting killed by Marvin Harrison Jr., which is probably one of the best receivers in college football. But I haven't forgot about Ringo. But yeah, I mean Julio can still play if he can stay healthy, man. That's the issue with Julio. He just can't stay healthy. So that's the issue with Julio Jones. A receiver from TCU, I heard about him. Yep. Yeah, we're gonna talk about draftees as well, guys. But we got a long off season. Got to be able to break down the content little by little. So, yep. All right, but like I said, guys, offense for me, offensive line. That's where we need to start. We can get our offensive line solidified. Like I said, you can find skilled players everywhere, things like that. I think you'll be good to go. All right, and then guys, the next thing is quarterback. I don't care what anybody says. In the National Football League, um, you need a quarterback. It's just that simple. You got to have your quarterback, man. I mean, that's why everybody's talking about Lamar Jackson, but um, I gave some examples of some quarterbacks that that was so-called game managers like a Trent Dilfer, things like that. But um, when I talked about defense win championships, it does. But if you got a quarterback that could you know take away and help with a not so good defense, that's when you really got something special, right? So a franchise quarterback is what the Atlanta Falcons need to make sure they got. Like I said, the verdict's still out on Desmond Ritter. I think he has potential. He could potentially be our franchise quarterback, but um, to build a good NFL team, you need a quarterback. I talked about the Cincinnati Bengals. They found their quarterback. So now they just need to be able to build around him, and they can continue to go further, right? You look at the Kansas City Chiefs, they got their quarterback, right? Buffalo, think they got their quarterback. Those are the things that we gotta look at. Quarterback to me is the key, right? We think Desmond the guy. Hopefully, he is the guy. But if he's not the guy, um, it's gonna be hard to sustain success. It's just that simple, guys. Um, you got to be able to find your quarterback. We look at the Dallas Cowboys, and I love that loss. But if the Dallas Cowboys, you know, quarterback want to lost a game for them, we'll be talking about them in the NFC Championship game this weekend instead of the San Francisco 49ers. It's just that simple. Their quarterback lost the game for them. You got to have good quarterback play. That's just simple for me. NFL is all about the quarterback. That's why they get paid the most money. Um, that's how you sustain success for longevity, having a quarterback. Um, we never really worried about our offense with the Atlanta Falcons when Matt Ryan was here because the offense was going to put up points. That's just the way it was. We never had to worry about that. They just never put a defense around him, right? Matt Ryan, yeah, he wasn't that guy that could cover up from defensive miscues, but you can say that in Matt Ryan 14 years here, he only had a top 10 defense twice, right? So that's not good, right? So we asked Matt Ryan to do miracles. We had our franchise quarterback, but we just never put the pieces around him. So in my opinion, you really, really, really got to have um, good quarterback play. And if you can find that franchise quarterback for years to years, that's why so many people are talking about Lamar Jackson, right? Because they just don't know about Desmond Ritter. We know Lamar Jackson is, right? And we don't know what his ceiling is because he's still just 25. He can actually get better. Got to stay healthy, right? But put him with, because I'm going to talk about my last point. You put him with good coaching. He actually maybe can even be better. So we got to have a franchise quarterback. Those are the keys to me, guys, that will get you make a good NFL football team. And I think the Falcons are definitely on the right track. And the last thing I just mentioned it is coaching. Got to have a good coach, right? I mean, you can have all the talent in the world, man. I mean, think about it. Every guy that's in the NFL probably was a All American in high school, all Pac-12, SEC, something like that in college, right? So they all can play, but they get to the wrong situations, don't get with a good coach, and your career could be on a downward spiral because you didn't get good coaching. I think good coaching is really really important um, for any good team, right? You look at Bill Belichick. His team always competitive every year. He always has them there, right on the fringe of being in the playoffs this year. Good coaching is really look at Kyle Shanahan. I thought Kyle Shanahan, even though he probably a better offensive coordinator than head coach, but because he have lost 2 Super Bowls, don't forget that. But he out coached Mike McCarthy the other day. Um, so you got to have good coaching, and yes, I do believe the Atlanta Falcons do have a good coaching staff. It's gonna be interesting to see who they bring in as defensive coordinator. But and I talked about the quarterback position. You need a coach that's able to get the best out of his quarterback, put him in the best system. The system make him successful. That's what he needs, right? And I think Arthur Smith would do that with Lamar Jackson. I also think he can do that with Desmond Ritter. So I think we're in good hands with our coaching staff. We got to solidify the defensive coordinator position, but I think the Atlanta Falcons are on the right track. We can only ask for them to see where they go from here, right? This would be the first year that they got all these different means to actually execute their plan that they really want. That's with the salary cap, the draft, free agency, all this stuff all twined in together. You still talk trades and things like that. So they got everything in their toolkit that they can use this year. That's what we like about the Atlanta Falcons going forward. Yes, they're on the right track. They're 3 years into their rebuild, in my opinion. I think they have established a culture here with this team, and now we just need to see if they can make magic work, right? So we got here Lamar or Ritter in 2023. I'm going with Ritter because I just think it's more realistic. How did the 49ers get the gem a quarterback with the last pick in the draft? I like Brock Purdy, I really do, but like I said, coaching, man. I think Kyle Shanahan just he's a really good offensive coordinator, and he put his quarterbacks in position to be successful. He really do. Not taking anything away from Brock Purdy, I think he has shown the poise to be Mr. Irrelevant, to come out there and don't make many mistakes and do what's asked of him. But I think Kyle Shanahan, his offense is really, really quarterback friendly, and it helped those guys really, really be successful in his system. Be Dirty is really put him on the Falcons would be the same. I don't know. You put him on the Falcons, man. We getting a new quarterback coach. Maybe because has Charles London he got hired yet? I know he went for an offensive coordinator job with the Commanders. Did they hire him as the offensive coordinator? That's the question. If not, I think he'll come back. But I know he's coaching the Senior Bowl this year. And he won't be at the East West Shrine game with the Atlanta Falcons. He'll be at the Senior Bowl being the coach there. Brian, people said, "What did I miss?" Well, you pretty much missed my opinion how you actually make a good NFL team, and are the Falcons on the right track? And I say yes, they are. And we just to recap real quick. We just talk about we started with the salary cap. We talked about the two different ways you're gonna go. You can do the all-in approach, or you're gonna do the rebuild. You start with your defense. You start with your offensive line. You go to your quarterback, and then you got to get some good coaching. That's, to me, in my opinion, the way the organization can make a good NFL team. And I'm talking about for the long run, not just a one and done team, right? You want to really build something special. You said not yet, yeah. So if he does not, yeah, I think Charles London to come back and be our You say TJ Yates. That's a good hire. That's a good hire. I like TJ Yates. That would be a good quarterback coach. So guys, definitely let me hear from you guys. Let me know what you guys think about leave your comments out there. Questions, definitely put a question out there. Like I said, for me, just going to record here, if the Atlanta Falcons decide to go for Lamar Jackson, I'm with it 100%. If the Falcons decide to stay with Desmond Ritter, I'm here with it 100%. So I'm not riding the fence. I'm just being real about it. because I think either way, it's just how they want to build this team, right? Do they want to go for the home run and already have a guy who's established in this league, who's still young and could definitely help propel us, or you want to go with a guy that we feel got potential to actually be a pretty good quarterback and utilize everything else in our toolkits to put a good team around him. So it's just how they want to actually decide to build this team. So that's why I'm with it either way. So I went on the record for that, but so many other things out there. Also, who would you guys just like to see as our defensive coordinator as well? Right, that's one of the questions out there. Who would you want to be our defensive coordinator? Before I said Vic Fangio, Brian Flores. I'm hearing good things about Ryan Nielsen, believe it or not, from the Aints. So hearing good things about him. Um, I wish they could interview Evero, from the Broncos, but the Broncos blocked that. So those are some of the things that we definitely got to, still answers out there. Who's going to be our defensive coordinator? What they're going to do with Marcus Mariota if the Baltimore Ravens decide to open up the trade for Lamar Jackson, or the Falcons all in trying to go get him like they were with Deshaun Watson last year. These are some of the things that we really need to consider and see what happens. He said, "What do you want as DC?" I think Ryan Nielsen it might be the move. Yes, I heard the same thing about Ryan Nielsen. This is one of the guys that I like. I like this. To me, this is one of those hires that, to me, is like a one of those polarizing hires. To me, bringing a guy like Rex Ryan back out of commentary, bring him back to the NFL football field. His daddy defense, Buddy Ryan, that defense was awesome. He's bringing some of that. He's really aggressive. That's what I like about defense. Anyway, I like aggressive defenses. I don't like defenses just sit back and let shit happen. I like aggressive defenses. You gamble, yeah, but I just like, you're not gonna let the offense dictate to you. You're gonna dictate to the offense. So, but he's not one of the guys that been listed. But hey, that would be a good hire for me as well. I agree with you. Yeah, you say you don't think he'll leave? Probably right. I think he got a cushy job um, with the ESPN right now, but he might have get the actual coaching itch to come back. We just have to see. Right? There's no relationship there with Arthur Smith, so I think if it was a relationship, it could definitely be somebody they can look into, but um, we just don't know. So, guys, that's it for me today. Definitely let me hear from you guys that was not able to listen to the whole video. Go back and listen to some points I made. Um, please provide your opinions. Please share this with other Falcon fans, and where I can hear those from those guys as well. I think the Falcons is going in the good direction, like I said, and I'm really excited to see what they decide to do this year. And we're gonna talk about it all here on Recondo, a real Falcon fan. So, like I said, this is your boy coming back at you with another video. Peace.